So the only way you can get out of three modes is to know the Supreme Lord. So that is the solution is going to present to us, and is also going to show in this last section what are the challenges that prevent us from, even after knowing this, we still can't do it. Why it's stopping us? No? So very important. This section is very important part of the whole chapter, and the book also, because this is unique knowledge you don't get anywhere else. No other scripture gives this knowledge. If you see the last section, study very carefully. There is a wonderful purports also. We'll keep doing that. So we'll go to next verse, text 20. Who is Shiva Krishna Prabhu? Nanetanya Deha samudbhavam Janma mrityu jara dukhe Vimukto mritam asnute.
Translation: when the embodied being is able to transcend these three modes associated with the material body, he can become free from birth, death, old age, and their distresses, and can enjoy nectar even this life.
Yeah. So what is the essence of this verse? What is Krishna offering here?
Relief from birth, death.
Relief from birth and death. And what else?
Old age also.
Old birth, death, this is old age. We are transcending the four miseries of life. What else is offering here?
Enjoy the nectar even this life.
So in this life also one can be happy, and end of the life you go back to Godhead. So it's a perfect package. So this is very crucial information. So that is the glory of understanding and transcending the three modes. So Prabhupada points out in the purport that even though we are in a material world, we are in a material body, still there is no obstacle to experiencing pure Krishna consciousness. Isn't that wonderful? In this material world, religion is seen as a means to spend some time. I have got my life here, and little bit I got my religious life. 1 hour per week, maybe, or 1 hour per month, or 1 hour per year, depending on what their inspiration is. But that's just one corner of my life. My main activity is my material life. Most people are in that mode. Actually, I was like that too. Once a week you go to temple, turn a matha, take diya, give some donation, do some, put some garland or make an offering. And that's it. Then you lead your life. But here in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is telling us, no, our whole life can become Krishna conscious. And all activities we do, nirbandha Krishna sambandhe. If they are connected to Krishna, that is yukta vairagya, that is renunciation. Not giving up this material world. Because the materialistic people, they try to enjoy the material world, they get frustrated, then they want to give it up. But we can't give up something that doesn't belong to us. It has to be used in the Lord's service. It belongs to Him. He is the proprietor. We have to use it for His service. Everything good and bad in a devotee's life is all good only. Because Krishna is using that situation to bring us closer to Him. So we should not put our extra intelligence on that and think, actually that's good and that is bad. I like this, I don't like that. No, we don't have to be over smart. Krishna is got a program for every single devotee. Anyone who has chanted once the holy name, Krishna said, you are in my sights now. I got you on my radar. I've got a plan for you. Immediately plan has started. Anyone has taken one grain of prasad, anyone has touched the Bhagavad Gita, read one shloka, heard one shloka, been to a little kirtan, seen Radha Gopinath, anything they have done. Been in contact with the devotee in any form. They already marked. Tick. Krishna has put his name. Tick. Yes, I'm going to get him. It's only a matter of time that's separating us. So that's why for a devotee, there's nothing inauspicious. Everything is auspicious because everything is planned by the Lord. So that's what Prabhupada says here at the end. But even in this body can enjoy spiritual happiness. In other words, devotion service Krishna consciousness is a sign of liberation of material entanglement. And this will be explained in the 18th chapter. We covered that last time, didn't we? 18th chapter. Which verse is that? Brahmabhuta Prasannatma Nashochyati na kankshati sama sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labhati. So on that transcendental platform, one will not have any hankering and lamentation. One is get free from hankering and lamentation. When one is freed from the influence of modes of material nature, he enters into devotion service. So being freed from modes of material nature means Brahmabhuta platform. And from there on one engages in devotion service. I was hearing Prabhupada lecture yesterday, and in the lecture he was saying that, he was talking about the first chapter only, why all the names of all those soldiers are given. What has that got to do with the philosophy of Gita? This one is that side, that one this side, this one fighting here. Yes, what is the answer? My microphone.
Krishna Sambandhe Yukta Vairagyam. So that means whoever is connected to Krishna is actually transcendental.
Exactly. So all we have to do is see the connection to Krishna. What is missing, what is not obvious, is the connection to Krishna. Everything is connected to Krishna. There is nothing that is not connected to Krishna. What is there? Mata paratam nanyat kinti dasti dhananjaya. There is nothing separate from me, nothing external from me, nothing apart from me. Everything is connected. What we lack is the understanding of seeing the connection. The moment we see the connection, then we are Krishna conscious, no matter what we are doing, no matter where we are. Very good, thank you. So now Arjuna is going to ask a question. Next 21. Okay, who has not read till now? Jagannath.
Arjuna Uvacha
Arjuna Uvacha
Kailingasthrin gunan etan
Kailingasthrin gunanetan
Atito bhavati prabhavo
Ta bhavati prabho
Kim achara katam chetam
Kim achara katam chetam
Trin guna ativartate
Kim gunanati vartate.
Arjuna inquired, O my dear Lord, by which symptoms is one known who is transcendental to these three modes? What is his behavior, and how does he transcend the modes of nature?
Okay. We can read the purport.
In this verse, Arjuna questions are very appropriate. He wants to know the symptoms of the person who has already transcended the material mode. He first inquires of the symptoms of such a transcendental person. How can one understand that he is already transcended the influence of the mode of material nature? The second question asks how he lives and what his activities are. Are they regulated or non-regulated? Then Arjuna inquires of the means by which he can attain the transcendental nature. This is a very important question, very important. Unless one knows the direct mean by which one can be situated always transcendentally, there is no possibility of showing the symptoms. So all these questions put by Arjuna are very important, and the Lord answers them.
Thank you. So what is the main point here? Yes. So we all look for role models, isn't it? So therefore Arjuna wants to say, alright, give me some example I can recognize this person is transcendent, so I can take his association and learn from him. So Arjuna is doing a favor for us actually. Arjuna already he himself was transcended the three modes, so he doesn't need to know even. But you can see that he is asking the question for future society of devotees. So we know that this person has transcended the modes and we render service to them. And even if one is not transcended, still one is on the path, we should try to associate and help each other. So Arjuna is compassion on us. Okay, we'll go to text 25, Krishna's reply. The 25 is how many verses are there? 22 to 25, correct, yes, that's right, it's all together. Yes, that's right. Yeah, I must be blasting your ears. Yeah. Okay, what we can do, we can take turns chanting the verse. Who is the... Pradeep, you want to chant the next verse? You do... Huh? Read one shloka, then you can hand over it. One shloka, everyone can. Because there are 4 verses here. So we, another one. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha
Sri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Prakasham cha pravritim cha
Prakasham cha pravrittim cha.
Moham yeva cha Pandava
Mohameva cha Pandava.
Nadveshti sampravattani
Yadati samprapatinani.
Na nivritani kankshati.
Na nivritani kankshati.
उदासीनवत् आसीन
Udasina tasina.
गुणैः विचाल्यते
Gunaina na vichalayate.
गुणावर्तन्त इति एवम्
Guna vartanti iti evam.
यो अवतिष्ठति न इङ्गते
Yo eva tishtati na ningate. Was not read to give them, I think. Yeah, it's not right.
समदुःख सुख स्वस्थः
Sama dukha sabastata.
समलोष्ट्राश्म काञ्चनः
Malostas kanchana.
तुल्य प्रिया प्रियो धीरस्
Yad
तुल्य निन्दात्म संस्तुतिः
Tulya nindasa samstutihi.
मनः पापनायोस्तुल्यस्
Amama papava nayo tilya.
तुल्यो मित्रारि पक्षयो
Ulamitari pakshaya.
सर्वरम्भा परित्यागी
Sarva ramba parityagi.
गुणतिथ्या स युच्यते
Gunatita sa uchyate. Actually, Adi Mataji is not read, no? I'm trying to get people who are not read. Alex, yeah. Your translation?
The Supreme The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O son of Pandu, he who does not hate illumination, attachment and delusion when they are present or long for them when they disappear, who is unwavering and undisturbed through all these reactions of the material qualities, remaining neutral and transcendental, knowing that the modes alone are active, who is situated in the self and regards alike happiness and distress, who looks upon a lump of earth, a stone and a piece of gold with an equal eye, who is equal toward the desirable and the undesirable, who is steady, situated equally well in praise and blame, honor and dishonor, who treats alike both friend and enemy, and who has renounced all material activities. Such a person is said to have transcended the modes of nature.
Very good. Animation Mataji, Vijay Gopi, purport here, please.
Arjuna submitted 3 different questions and the Lord answers them one after another. In these verses, Krishna first indicates that a person transcendently situated has no envy and does not hanker for anything. When a living entity stays in this material world, embodied by the material body, it is to be understood that he is under the control of one of the 3 modes of material nature. When he is actually out of the body, then he is out of the clutches of the material modes of nature. But as long as he is not out of the material body, he should be neutral. He should engage himself in the devotional service of the Lord so that his identity with the material body will automatically be forgotten. When one is conscious of the material body, he acts only for sense gratification. But when one transfers the consciousness of Krishna, sense gratification automatically stops. One does not need this material body, and he does not need to accept the dictation of the material body. The qualities of the material modes in the body will act, but as spirit soul, The self is aloof from such activities. How does he become aloof? He does not desire to enjoy the body, nor does he desire to get out of it. Thus, transcendently situated, the devotee becomes automatically free. He need not try to become free from the influence of the modes of material nature. The next question concerns the dealings of a transcendently situated person. The materially situated person is affected by so-called honor and dishonor offered to the body, but the transcendently situated person is not affected by such false honor or dishonor. He performs his duty in Krishna consciousness and does not mind whether a man honors or dishonors him. He accepts things that are favorable for his duty in Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, he has no necessity of anything material, either a stone or gold. He takes everyone as his dear friend who helps him in his execution of Krishna consciousness, and he does not hate his so-called enemy. He is equally disposed and sees everything on an equal level, but he knows perfectly well that he has nothing to do with material existence. Social and political issues do not affect him because he knows the situation of temporary upheavals and disturbances. He does not attempt anything for his own sake. He can attempt anything for Krishna, but for his personal self, he does not attempt anything. By such behavior, one becomes actually transcendently situated.
Very good. Long purport, good combination of verses. So let's go back to the basic what are the three questions that Arjuna asked? First question is the symptoms of one who is in transcendence. So what is Krishna's reply to that?
He has no envy or doesn't hanker for any material substance.
Very good. So because he is not hankering for anything material, therefore is not envious. Let's take the example of last time we talked about Ramayana, this time we'll talk about Mahabharata example. Who was the obvious character who was very envious? Duryodhana. So Duryodhana example, we see why was he feeling envious? He is hankering for more and he is jealous of the Pandavas, right? Even when he sent them to the forest, the Pandavas are more happy than him. Even Dhritarashtra goes and asks Vidura once, I'm not able to sleep at night. So the sleeping problem is not only now, it was that time also. Now it become more. And then Vidur said, if you cause difficulty to somebody, put someone in difficulty because of you, then you cannot sleep at night. If you check the progress of somebody in the Krishna consciousness, then you cannot sleep at night. So many conditions he gives. If you do any of these things, you will not be able to sleep at night. If you are hankering for something material, then also you will not be able to sleep at night. So he gives a whole list of things. So Dhritarashtra, in his case, he had sanctioned all of them. Even if he had not done them, it's as good as doing it because he sanctioned Duryodhana's. Duryodhana came and asked him permission, a very tricky way. He didn't come and ask him in a straightforward way, Pitashri, should I do this? No, okay, I won't do it. No, he was manipulated Dhritarashtra to say yes. You see, Duryodhana was so manipulative. So therefore, because of the hankering and lamentation, so much was there that he could not sleep before the war, after the war, during the war. He never had any peace because all was bad news for him. But on the opposite side we have Pandavas, especially Yudhishthira Maharaj. What was his position? He lost his kingdom. His wife was insulted. They were sent to the forest. So he had every reason to complain and be bitter. Every reason. But he was feeling completely peaceful going to the forest. And not only that, the only regret he had was he could not help what he was doing in Yudhishthira Maharaj in charity. He would give Vidyadan, he would educate children. So my only regret is I can't do that. I don't have funds now. But otherwise he was very happy. And because he was detached from that position, he got back his kingdom. Not that he wanted it even. But of course one time he does say, my dear Krishna, make me wealthy, make me famous, make me rich, make me all this. And Krishna says, why do you ask all these things, all the material? He said, no, if you make me rich and famous and all that, people will think devotees of Krishna are very well placed, I should become a devotee. It's a good preaching. Even there he is not thinking of himself. He is thinking how it will influence people who are in mode of ignorance and passion, that they'll think, oh, being Krishna conscious is good, materially also is good, spiritually also is good, so why not? It's a win-win. For that reason he asked. Otherwise he is not interested. For him, living in the forest and living in the palace was the same. No difference. So from the Mahabharata we learn this, that we have Yudhishthira Maharaj as a perfect example of the symptoms of transcendence. These are very wonderful qualities. I would request that what we'll do is this, we take this as a homework. Next week you come back and give me examples in Srila Prabhupada's pastimes, how he exhibited these qualities. And Lord Chaitanya's pastimes, you can see different, Ramayana Mahabharata of course is there. So you take this and you make this the homework and try to recollect or read and find out where Prabhupada has shown these qualities of transcendence, that we can better glorify and appreciate Prabhupada's position. And we are so fortunate to have his association and his teaching and his books for us, so it will help us a lot. Okay, what other qualities are there of symptoms of transcendence?
Who does not hate illumination, attachment, illusion, and
Yes. Who's not averse to these things. What are they? Illumination, attachment and delusion. Yeah. So what does that mean? That he is not, because the modes are there, we get attached to them, but at the same time the one who transcends the modes is not averse to them. He is not having repulsion from them. Because being averse to the modes is also not going to help us as much being attached to the modes or being in the modes. So that's why he is free from that. So that means if one has got a material body, how does he use that? Use in devotional service. Understanding number one, that it is Krishna's property, belongs to Krishna. Who the real proprietor is? Real proprietor is Krishna. Therefore I should use that in his service. I think maybe I have told this before. One of our god brothers, he is a householder. He was passing away in Sridham Mayapur. I think you told, no? Radha Prem's father, their father, how? Yeah, so he was living in Mayapur. Last few years of his life he wanted to be in Mayapur only. And he was serving Radha Madhav. But when he was dying, his health condition was not good. So he couldn't get up and do anything. He was in a bedridden condition. So, but still he was very Krishna conscious, very cheerful. And devotees asked him, you are in so much pain, you are in so much difficulty, you can't get up, you are bedridden the whole day. What do you do? How do you spend your time? He's saying, now I'm offering the same service in the mentally. What I was doing before with my body, I could not do. Now I'm doing it with my mind. So still I go to Mangalarti, still I wake the Lord, still I offer him the bhoga, still I cook for him. So in the mind he's got a whole elaborate offering. Everything that he did before in his life, now he's reliving that on a mental level. And that is very powerful. Like you see the example of Gopikesh Babaji Maharaj, Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. Apparently, externally, they were not preaching. Isn't it? There are two types of devotees. What are the two types? Bhajananandi and Goshta. Yeah. Goshtianandis, they like to go and preach. Bhajanandis, they don't preach, but they do bhajan. So you may think that Bhajanandis are not doing anything. They are sitting and chanting for their own benefit. But actually their chanting is so powerful that it creates the wave of purification such that the Goshtianandis can come and preach. Even if they are not actively preaching, directly preaching, by their chanting they are preaching. They are so powerful. They don't have to go and tell anyone. Just the potency of their chanting on this planet benefits them. One time there was a discussion that Lord Chaitanya came to the planet, on this planet, he delivered everyone. All the living entities went back to Godhead. All those who present at the time of Lord Chaitanya. Then the devotee asked the question, then what happens to the universe then? Who is going to be there in this universe? The entire universe went back to Godhead. So who is left now? How come we are all still here? The first question, first worry that we have, how come I am still here? So how come we are still here? And did everyone really go back? Did they transcend the three modes of material nature and manage to go back? What do you think actually happened? Hare Krishna. No, they went back to Godhead. It's not temporary. And then from other universes, other living entities came to this universe. And that's us. We were not ready to go back. But now we are associated with Lord Chaitanya's followers. So therefore we also have a chance. Then one devotee asked the question, oh, that's all very good. But what about the tree that lived more than 500 years? That was present that time. It's still there. Didn't go back to Godhead. What happened to that tree? There are so many trees. Some trees are there on this planet which are more than 500 years old. That means they have been there since the time of Lord Chaitanya and they still haven't gone back to Godhead. What about them? This Shastra says that anyone who was present in Lord Chaitanya in this whole universe, they all went back to Godhead. What about the tree? Sorry? Yes. End of this life they will also go back. If they have been around in Lord Chaitanya's time in this universe, then end of this life, however long it may be, they got to finish their thing. They'll eventually go back also. Shastra is never wrong. Our understanding may be faulty or limited, which is always the case. But they all go back to Godhead. So anyone associated like that, anyone associated using everything in Krishna's service, then everything becomes transcendental. So in other words, we give up the false proprietorship, give the false sense of proprietorship, understanding who the real proprietor is. And that also Krishna explained in the 5th chapter, last verse. Ashwaram Suridam Sarabhutana Jatramam Shanti Mrikyate. That peace is not just Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. But that peace also means one is transcended the three modes of material nature, one is on the Brahmabhuta platform, Brahmabhuta Prasannatma. So the first symptom of this thing is Brahmabhuta Prasannatma. One is actually very happy, very joyful. One is not hankering, lamenting, complaining, blaming. No, these are not symptoms of one who has transcended the mode. They are completely free from this because they don't have that possessive nature. They don't possess because of three symptoms. They know who the enjoyer is, Bhoktaram, Krishna, who the proprietor is, Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, and Suridam Sarvabhutanam. Krishna is our best friend. So if he has put us in a certain situation, it is there exactly what we need. Just like sometimes the doctor gives bitter medicine. Now that may be bitter, but it's good, that's what we need. Sometimes you have to take an injection, that's painful, but that's what we need. If we don't take that on time, then our health could be in danger. Right, Shankar? It's what the doctors ordered. So devotee doesn't complain. So that is the first question, symptoms of transcendence. What is the second question? Yeah, how does he act? What is the activities of a person who is, what is his behavior when he stands in the three modes? So what are the symptoms given in this verse? Yeah, he is completely steady in all conflicting situations. Yeah, he is neutrally situated. So steady means, okay, steady. What are the conflicting situations we face normally? Happiness, distress, yeah. Honor, dishonor, yeah. Praising and blaming also, yeah. Profit, loss, desiring and things, likes and dislike, what you like, what dislike, life and death, yeah. So these are the what you call dualities that we are facing. So what is the devotee's reaction to the response to these dualities? steady. Yeah. Now, this brings a question. What if there is a setback in our life? Something happens which is really very disturbing, very painful. So does that mean the devotee doesn't have feelings? I'm steady, I'll be like a stone. I'll be stoic. Is being stoic a valid response to the situation? Yes, Pratika?
No, because devotees are also humans.
Yeah.
They go through all those feelings, but the thing is that they come back to their Krishna consciousness. They don't dwell in their problems.
Very good. Not just they're human, but they are individuals. And we have personality. We have feelings. We have emotions. Therefore, but the devotee doesn't let that affect this Krishna consciousness. Immediately it comes back. Yes,
Prabhu, good example is in the Mahabharata itself when, like, say Arjuna is asking this question and when Lord actually gives the answer and he understands that, but when his son gets killed, he is actually showing all the emotions after his death, and he actually takes the pratigya to kill the one who actually killed his son. So that's a good example.
Yeah, that's a very good example. When Arjuna he swings back, he goes into lamentation, but he comes out of it. Very nice. Yes, more examples. Use the microphone.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, this actually happened a few months ago when His Holiness Bhakti Rasamrit Maharaj was here. So we all went to drop him at the airport, and when he was about to check in, the lady at the counter said, "You don't have a signed copy. No, you don't have a document for Singapore visa. I need to see either an email or a printed document. I will not allow you to check in, or I won't give you a boarding pass." Already Maharaj was late. Flight was like he had about half an hour to produce this document before he could go in. And we were about 20 devotees doing silly things to get that document. And Maharaj was just so equipoised, standing in one place, and he was just watching us all. What are we doing? He had no emotion, no distress, nothing on his face. Calm, quiet, peaceful as always. And then he just made one call to Belgaum, called one of his secretaries, and they emailed the visa to him. Then one of us went to the post office, got it printed in nick of time, just to allow him to, it was just so, we cut it all so fine. But I was thinking, any one of us in that situation would have jumped up and down and made such a hue and cry. But there was Maharaj, who was standing as if nothing's happened. And he was just so calm. You had to be there. Samriddhi was there. You can, you could see how it was. We were just so amazed, amazed.
That's true. Very nice. Good example. Yes, Nati. Yeah.
That was the first time I was cooking for Maharaj, and when I cooked and served him, and after that we took the Mahaprasad, I felt that in one dish there was too much salt, and the other there was no salt at all. The first time in the retreat. So, but Maharaj did not show any expressions in his face, and finally he came and said us like, "Oh, fantastic prasada, Mataji." So this, I was really like in tears when I heard that, like afterwards I tasted, even I couldn't taste that it was too salty. And the other ones, there was no salt at all, but there was no expressions on his face. He just had it, and then he appreciated as well the good prasada. This was like, I really felt that this is what the pure devotee is.
Yes, very nice. Thank you.
Prabhu, Vrindavan Palini Mataji was sharing Jayapataka Maharaja's experience as well, that one devotee cooked for him, and instead of salt, he put sugar in that, in sabzi. Something like that happened. And someone else was with Maharaj, and he couldn't eat it. He tasted it and he said, "I can't eat it." But Maharaj asked the more. He asked the lady to have it more, and it's very tasty, and please give me more. And later on, when lady came to know that there was nothing, she felt very guilty. But Maharaj said the way she cooked it, she put her heart in that cooking. That was, he was able to feel, and that's what he was saying. So it is definitely
very nice.
Maharaj is transcendental. He's when you read his experiences in the ICU, I was very emotional. I have a leg pain and I make such an issue out of it. He's there, he can't breathe, he can't talk, he can't walk. And he's trying to make everyone Krishna conscious in there. Even as he went out of the hospital, there were devotees coming to get something from him. Give me, I need blessings, I need blessings.
That's true. One devotee is telling me that some devotees even got into the ICU and asked for blessings. Let my son pass the exam or something. In ICU. But anyway, this is the transcendental nature of Krishna consciousness, that anyone who takes up the process, they can see that they have transcended the mode. Yeah. Thank you. Srila Prabhupada also, of course, he is the one who spearheaded the whole thing, and his followers. I'm sure we can speak of all the Guru Maharajas and all the devotees. There's so many examples of how they have transcended the modes. It's not a theoretical subject, but practically you can see that one can transcend the modes. Otherwise, humanly it's not possible. Human level it's not possible. Anyway, you look at it. Okay, now that you're mentioning of Jayapataka Maharaj, actually last night I was talking to one devotee who had gone to see him last week in Delhi. And he was saying that he's a doctor also. He said, as medically, they had written him off in Calcutta. There was no chance. The chance looked very bleak. It was totally, they could not make any sense of the situation. And they were trying to airlift him to Delhi. And there were no flights available. Because Modi was landing in Calcutta, they said no planes are going to fly. I mean, the amount of obstacles they faced is just unbelievable. And they had to take a helicopter to the nearest airport, and from there get a private flight, charter, air ambulance, and that you have to fly. Imagine, not that he's comfortably walking around, he had to be carried on a stretcher. He was unconscious. So it was a very difficult situation, but because all the devotees, we're thankful to all of you devotees also here who have prayed so sincerely. And the sincere prayer of the devotees is completely, the doctors are completely, they said they can't believe how it all came out. Now it's come out of the hospital. So this is all the potency of the praying of the devotee. He said, when he came out, the first thing he said, only because the devotees' prayers have survived. The first thing. So we are very thankful to all of you for chanting and reading and doing so many austerities. Definitely the Lord has allowed him to be with us longer and serve Srila Prabhupada and complete his service. So I want to thank you for that. Yep, so there is plenty of examples, so that's why I want to give this the homework. So we meditate on this. It's a very wonderful meditation, as you can see. To share these experiences is very nice. Want to say something? Yes.
I have a question.
Yeah.
When we go through difficulties, we generally we react.
Yeah.
We may feel it deep down. We may try and tell ourselves that this is just a test and whatever. But then we do react.
Of course.
How do we not react? How do we to transcend the three modes? How do we? Do we not speak about it? Do we not express our feelings? How do we try? Because that's the first thing that happens.
Yeah. What did Arjuna do when he got the news that the children were killed? What was his reaction? He cried. He was angry. He makes a vow to Draupadi that I will get the killer, I'll find him and get him for you. He did all that. But then finally what did he do? No. Actually, yeah, but what was the important step in between? What happened between that? Yeah. So actually, no, even before that, he took shelter of Krishna. He took shelter of Krishna. So for us, that is the instructive point. We're taking shelter of the Lord. Of course, in Arjuna's case, Krishna was personally with him. In our case, we can take shelter of the devotees. That's why it's very important that we have some devotees that we can talk to, who can give us the right perspective on things. If we don't, we act impulsively, speak impulsively, then we can cause a lot of damage to ourselves and to other devotees and our relationships. So that is a training. I'm not saying I have achieved that training. I also have to Alright? So, I'm not saying that I have it or something, but that is a very good strategy to adopt. Is that don't act on that impulsively. Rather, try to talk to someone and say, this is how I feel. Is that right or wrong? There's no harm in talking to a devotee and expressing your feelings to a devotee who can guide you. Not to a devotee who will add mirch masala to that and make it a nice gossip. That is very dangerous. And that is very juicy. We like it. That's nice. Let me talk to this person. He'll add more ras and make it more tasty. No, that is not what we're looking for. Rather, we look for somebody who will be our well-wisher, who may not praise us all the time, but who will actually give us the proper guidance. So you need to have that. You need to reach out to that association. Because then we can discuss it with that person. Okay, what are the things? What did I do wrong here? How did I contribute to the problem? Rather than blaming the other person, we try to put ourselves in the other person's shoes and think what makes the person behave like this. Again, I'm not saying that I'm doing this perfectly in all the time, but in a saner moment we tend to do that. In an insane moment we do exactly what we should not be doing. So that's why we have association of devotees. Otherwise, on our own we are very fallible. We make our own judgments. We have our own value system. This is good, this is bad, this is right, this is wrong. What do we know? We are conditioned by the three modes. What can we judge? But better to understand through the eyes of the Shastra, through the eyes of other devotees who can guide us. Shall we? The microphone right next to you. Oh, you got it.
Yeah, as Prabhu said, we have to go to a devotee who will help us and who will not judge us. And for that, we need to have a panel of devotees who are non-judgmental, quite pure-hearted, mature, and who've gone through some experiences in life and who've come to that stage where they will hear with compassion and give them the right guidance. Unfortunately, in Sydney, we still haven't reached that stage. It's still quite a young congregation. In Chaupati, all glories to His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj. He's established himself. He established it himself. And now he's got a whole crew who are helping him out. And so, like Amritnam Mataji and Krishnanam Prabhu, they have as many as 50 counselees under them. And because they constantly keep counseling and they have a stable, what can you say, they have some strategies in place to run the temple such that all are looked after at the basic roots, such that they don't have to be in those difficult conditions. And so that time when I asked Amritnam Mataji, oh Mataji, how do you manage 50 counselees? If we have to hear someone's stories, 50 people's bad stories, even psychiatrists, they themselves go to somebody else for counseling. No? After they've counseled a few people in one day, they'll be sitting under the chair, the table it seems, because they are pulling their hair in frustration. So in Sydney, we have to have many rapid changes, and it's up to each one of us here to progress spiritually as fast as we can, not to be very slow and taking it very lightly. So then if we progress, then devotees will have, the younger devotees, they'll be the fortunate ones. We'll have done all the hard work. And they'll be the fortunate ones who can come to us for counseling. So every devotee needs to have at least one person with whom they can let their hair down, let their defenses down, and not be scared of being judged. Or in insane moment. You poured out all your dirty linen in public, sort of. And then you get scared. Oh my God, maybe I did the wrong thing. Oh my God. You shouldn't be scared like that. So for that, it behooves each one of us to progress fast and make that panel. So even recently, I had an experience where I thought, oh my God, just reading the 14th chapter, modes of material nature, and I've got to really get over it. But then it's so hard. It's easier said than done. This, whoever is being described here in the 22nd to 25th shlokas, all the Mahabhagavatas, they've reached that. Oh wow. They are like the Nitya Siddhas. But we here in Kali Yuga, in Sydney, with all leading such imbalanced lives, not like you all who have gone back to India and you're living with your parents. It's such a balanced lifestyle. Here everything is topsy-turvy, it's so lopsided. And here we are trying to get over transcend the modes of material nature. So I had to really overcome it. I had to try to overcome it and forgive. But then I did it so grudgingly and I said, oh yes, I conquered it. But then I've done it so grudgingly. It didn't come very naturally. It didn't flow very spontaneously. Aha, I'm so Atmaram that I've forgiven. No. Oh, I've got to forgive and forgiven. And then carrying that in the heart. He said this, she said this, that. So I was thinking, oh my God, 14th chapter, ki jai. All glories to those who can, but I'm not able to. So, but then no worries. You made some small, you've at least come to know where I'm standing. I've come to know. Okay, thank you, Krishna. If I hadn't gone through that experience, I wouldn't have come to know also that. I would have read, 14th chapter, I've conquered the 14th chapter, I know all the shlokas. I can write the Bhakti Shastri exam, I can score 90 and look at my certificate, Bhakti Shastri. But the situation comes, he said that she said that, oh, I'm not talking to this, no, that is Bhakti Shastri, that is Abhakti Shastri. Yeah, so it is in applying, and when it comes to applying, so then I thought, Krishna, okay, you have been so kind to me that you put me through this situation. Thank you, Krishna. But then please don't handle me roughly. Don't give me this test again and again, because I failed very badly, but then I made an attempt to pass. So are you happy? Your little child has made a small attempt to pass this big exam. For me, it's a big exam. Then, okay, Krishna is happy. Okay. I hope Krishna is happy. And then it carries on like that. So, modes of material nature, oh my God, it's very easy to recite shlokas, but then we have to really improve our chanting, improve our sadhana. And like His Holiness Devamrita Maharaj says, 90% of your spiritual advancement comes from chanting. So if we can put our heart and soul into chanting, associate with devotees who help us improve our chanting, quality chanting. And if we have not chanted properly that day, feel a little bit guilty. Oh my God, today I didn't chant properly. Not then, oh my God, I've finished my rounds. No. So if we keep making attempts like that, probably one day we will get there. And Krishna will see whatever attempts we are making and He will help us. Thank you.
Yeah. Charamati, you want to say something?
Quickly, I was just listening to a lecture this was a couple of weeks ago, by His Grace Gaur Gopal Prabhu from Chapati.
Yeah.
And the name of the lecture was Change Should Come From Within. It should not be just external. And he mentions the same point that you have to strive to really do it. It has to be work. It's work in progress. It can't be overnight change. And he was describing the difference between react and respond. Said response is very impulsive. It's because of our conditioning from many lives. But response is deliberate, and you need to overcome that conditioning to have that deliberated response. That the stronger our connection is to Krishna, the better will be our response to the situations.
Very good.
And that was the sum and substance of the whole
Yeah.
lecture. And just as Didi said, it is hard, but you have to just make attempts, baby steps towards that goal, to make that connection very strong through whatever ways, chanting, reading, associating.
True.
All that.
Basic process is there. And the more we do this effectively, the more Krishna will communicate with us. So right now we feel, why is Krishna not communicating with me? I have a problem, I have a question. Why is Krishna silent? Why isn't he speaking? Or is he speaking? I don't know. So like you said, Gaur Gopal Prabhu said, the stronger our activities are, Krishna consciousness, more we understand what is the Lord's desire. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam. So like that we have to see what is Radha Gopinath Manobhishtam, Srila Prabhupada Manobhishtam. What do they actually want? Because I can do devotion service my own way, that's nice, but you wish to see what the Lord wants. What Srila Prabhupada wants me to do. So even in devotional activities, there are things that, supposing I have to cook, now I should be cooking. Not that I want to go and do kirtan. There may not be time for kirtan, maybe time to cook. Maybe time to do arti, we have to do arti this time. We have to have prasad at this time. So what is required we have to find out first and then do it. Not that I do what I want and then say, here you go, I'm doing my service. That's not this. That's in a more mature stage. In the beginning we say, oh, so nice, you ate prasad so nicely. That's an achievement. But as we become more mature, we have to look more deeper. Am I really fulfilling the Lord's desire, or am I doing what I want to do? It's not bhakti anymore, it's karma yoga. Bhakti means we have to desire what the Lord desires. And that we find out through the devotees.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. His Holiness Bhakti Rasamrita Maharaj actually suggested or instructed all of us during the retreats. He said we should actually report to Radha Gopinath, like daily and weekly kind of on the basis.
Yes.
And I suppose we should actually establish that relationship with our deities at home, because we cannot go to see Radha Gopinath every day. So, but the deities are there, like in picture form and all these things. So we should actually make that a practice to speak to our home deities, and because he said he's a Purusha, he's a person, So that may help. I just remember that now, so I thought sharing.
Definitely, that's true. Yeah, that's right. Very nice system actually. In olden temples in Vrindavan, they still do that. They give report to the deities. So that happens. And that's why Srila Prabhupada established Radha Gopinath. So even if you don't have deities at home, you can take picture of Radha Gopinath. Picture also he responds. It doesn't matter you have to be in the temple. But Prabhupada has given us Radha Gopinath. Our home deities are nice to have deities at home, but our main deities are still Radha Gopinath for entire Sydney. So, but the point is to give a report. That's the point. Yeah, the point is to give a report. And Radha Gopinath especially are very merciful. And over the years they have shown that Sydney needs the mercy more than anywhere else. Place is very intense. So they are extra merciful to the devotees. And they respond very quickly. Especially a pure desire, Krishna fulfills straight away. Every time we have, every week I'm finding I'm praying for something or other. So much is going on in Sydney. Every week I have to have some special requests. I have a hotline to Madhumanjari Mataji, right, Pujari? This week, what's the prayer? Okay, we're fundraising dinner. This week, we're starting Schofield Hall program. See, we had nobody responding. First 2-3 weeks, nobody came. I thought it's going to be, devotees are telling me, are you sure you want to spend so much money? You booked for 6 weeks, very confidently. Spent $1,200 just to book the hall for 6 weeks. So I think it's a big risk. Are you sure? I said, yeah, we'll take the risk. Now today they're calling me and saying, we got 120 registrations, we don't know where to put them. It's too small. Earlier we used to ask people to come and they wouldn't come. Now hoping some will not come. Because if all come, there will be no space, they'll have bad experience. And 40 kids. Registered 40 kids. Even this morning people are calling up and asking, can I come? Is there room still left? Can I come in? Full house. But let's see actually what happens. So need your blessings and your prayers to Radha Gopinath. Because new temple is coming up here in Schofield, so we are rightly situated to Rasananda Gopal is in the right spot. This area, we need to build a whole community here before the Lord comes. Before the Lordship arrives, the devotees should be there. They should welcome the Lord. So we need a good congregation here, strong congregation, who can develop this area. So please give your blessings so that you can utilize this. So the Lord reciprocates, that's the point, When you offer the prayers, when you give a report, the Lord is there, He's listening. We should have that faith. So what is lacking is the faith. This is my first experience in Krishna consciousness. When I was asked to organize Rath Yatra in Bangalore, I just joined a few months as devotee, 3 maybe 6 months maximum. And they asked me to organize Rath Yatra. First time ever in Bangalore it's been done. First time. I was so nervous, I was a young devotee. Not that everything was dependent on me, but I had quite a big responsibility there to get permissions, go to the police, do this, get the route, inauguration, call the ministers. So many things are going on. But it was a very big challenge to do it. A new devotee, don't know anything. And I was in complete anxiety. I said, no, I can't do it. And the devotee said, no, you should have faith in Krishna. If you think you are the doer, you can't do it. Krishna is going to do it, and you do the necessary work. And that way it was a very big Rath Yatra. Of course, India, everything is big only. And Krishna Balaram Rath Yatra, that was Krishna and Balaram, not a Jagannath Rath Yatra, it was Krishna Balaram Rath Yatra. First Rath Yatra of Bangalore, very huge success. And this also, that time we also introduced Krishna book in schools, Krishna book exam. So we used to give out Krishna book to school kids. They had to study and write exam, they'll get a prize. They had even Muslim children participating in that. Hindus, Muslim, everybody. They all read Prabhupada's book, they had to give answer according to, so you had to set the paper. It was like running a whole university. You had to have exams, you had to have invigilators, you had to have exam halls, you had to have hall tickets, you had to have all the registrations, like operating like a vice chancellor. Thing which I could never imagine before I would be doing. And Krishna gives you a chance to do all these services, It's such a mind-boggling. Setting the question papers and delivering the question papers to all the schools on that day in a sealed envelope. Couriers going to all the schools. It is huge. But it's such a wonderful experience, because at the end of it you see the Lord is actually doing it, not us. So there's no reason to be proud, but rather happy to see the Lord's response, His reciprocation. So we're talking about the behavior of the one who stands in the modes. So we said that he's steady and that equipoised, is equally or equipoised, equally disposed with positive and negative, with friend and enemy, sees everything on a spiritual level, not social and political. So this is a very interesting point, because you see, in this material world, people tend to take sides politically and socially. Politically people tend to take views. A devotee has no views on that. He is neutral. Why is that so? Very good. It's the three modes that are acting. Therefore it's not transcendental. Therefore there is no point in taking sides. You take sides, it doesn't make any sense, because both are material motivated. So there is no Krishna consciousness in them. So for a devotee there is no need to have a take on it, because it's not connected to Krishna. One Indian gentleman asked Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, you didn't mention much about Nala Damayanti in your books. Why is that? Certainly, why haven't you mentioned much about Nala and Damayanti in your books? Of course, it is mentioned here and there. You can see in the folio, it's there, but very minimal. Prabhupada said, if he has nothing to do with Krishna, then we have nothing to do with him. Very simple. Bhakti Rasananda Maharaj also tells that, what is that, Kalidas, great poet. His book someone presented to a queen who was a Vaishnavi. I said, oh, here is a great poet, Kalidas, please read this poem. He said, oh no, he is not connected to Krishna, I am not interested. I know only two poets, Valmiki and Vyasadeva. Anything anyone has written, we are not interested. Valmiki wrote Ramayana and Vyasadeva compiled the Mahabharata. That's it. We are not interested in any other poetry. It is a waste of time. I don't want it. So the Nirbandha, Krishna Sambandha, that is the relationship. So understanding that Krishna is beyond the modes, and understanding that everything related to Krishna is also beyond the modes. Yesterday I was talking to one devotee and I said, sometimes I get worried that we are so much in the mode of passion. Is that right or wrong? Should we slow down or what should we do? He said, no, if it is connected to Krishna, it is completely transcendental. It is a mundane vision to see that it's mode of passion. Yes, passion is there, but that is used for Krishna. It is not passion anymore. It is passionate only if it is used for our own personal gain. If it is genuinely used for Krishna, then there is no question of passion. And that passion is there out of compassion only anyway. Though people make jokes and say compassion is come, reduce the passion. But this mode of goodness is not the goal of our life. Though in mode of goodness, if you act, you will be more effective. That is true. But if someone has passion, use that. No point condemning that. Rather, to use that is more important. Otherwise, they're left with ignorance. What's the use? If a person's passion is not encouraged, what will happen to the person? Oh, you're too passionate too. So what will happen to him? He'll become mode of ignorance then. Is that a great achievement? Does it take him closer to Krishna? No. You have got passion, very good. At least you have passion. You're better than one in mode of ignorance who doesn't want to do anything. So let us encourage that person. You go and do something. Prabhupada is like that. He encouraged the devotees, not discouraged them. And what is the third question? The last question they asked? Sorry? It's a Bollywood story. It's a Bollywood story. And I used to read about them in my school days. Now I don't remember what they were. After I heard Prabhupada say that, I thought, okay, better I don't know about it. Less I know is better. Yeah. Historical people, they are real people, but the thing is, they were not Krishna conscious. It's all sensuous material, Bollywood stuff. What of passion. Doesn't interest us. So what is the third question? Yeah, sorry, Richard, you want to ask something? Yeah.
You were talking about the Brahma Bhuta platform. Recently, somebody sent Sankarshan Maharaj a question about the Brahma Bhuta platform, and they asked him, on the 9 stages of Krishna consciousness, where does Brahma Bhuta fall? And I didn't quite understand his answer, so would you mind answering or elaborating on that? Where exactly is Brahma Bhuta in those 9 stages?
See, Brahma Bhuta stage, to come to Brahma Bhuta stage, in one, they are not a different, they are different scales first of all. It's very hard to put the scale on that. That's the first point to bear in mind. Because Adau Shraddha, the moment a person develops the faith, and Sadhu Sangha does, he's already transcended the 3 modes. Okay, that's the first thing to bear in mind. Krishna consciousness is not in the material platform at all. So any activity that a person does for however long may not be able to do it for all the time. That's the difference. That is Krishna consciousness already in the very beginning. So Brahma Bhuta stage is already there to answer your question, Brahma Bhuta is there in the very beginning. The percentage may be less. Yeah. How long it lasts? Yeah. Because the person may be Krishna conscious, maybe he stands only 1 round a day. No. Remaining time he does, let's say, mundane activities. He is not a devotee still. But that 1 round is done. So that stage is already beyond the modes of material nature. Even though he is in Adau Shraddha Sadhu Sangha, he is just in that stage only. Okay. And Bhajana Kriya, the commitment increases, so the stage of his life, the percentage of his life above the Brahma Bhuta platform is getting more and more and more and more. Okay. As he goes up the ladder, yeah. But the opportunity is there from the very beginning to be on the Brahma Bhuta platform if one wants to be. That's the first question. First statement. Second aspect of the answer is that what determines that growth in the percentage of Brahma Bhuta platform increasing versus the material platform decreasing? What determines that progress? That's the next aspect. First we define that Brahma Bhuta platform is possible in all the stages. Percentage is different in the first aspect. The second aspect is that what determines that? What is it? It's the anarthas. The more anarthas we have, the more we will be off the transcendental platform and on the material platform in the three modes of material nature, acting in the modes. The more the anarthas are getting cleared, the more one is on the beyond the Brahmabhuta platform, on the transcendental platform. So you understand two criteria, right?
Yes. So on that second point, let's say somebody is completely on the Brahmabhuta platform but has nothing to do with Krishna consciousness. Are they completely free of anarthas?
They may be free of anarthas to the extent that they are not hankering and lamenting. That shloka says it all. Na sochati na kangshati. Even if meets that criteria, but that's only a theoretical answer, because to be on Brahmabhuta platform one has to be Krishna conscious. Without Krishna consciousness, it is only theoretically possible, but practically it's not possible. Because even those so-called liberated souls, mumukshibi, those who want liberation, those who even want liberation, they are not satisfied with that platform because there is no their nature, the spiritual soul nature to be active, to have relationship is not fulfilled. That may be a temporary state. Simply out of fear of material energy, one may be taken to the Brahmabhuta platform. Out of fear, not because they like it. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada said they end up doing philanthropic work. They open hospitals and schools, which again comes back to mode of passion. We read that earlier. Opening schools and hospitals and doing public welfare activities. That comes back to mode of passion. Then one wants to enjoy that. Then one wants name and fame for that. Then slowly slides down into mode of passion and ignorance. So it does not last. Whereas in the Krishna conscious platform, one is the hankering and lamentation is removed because you have got more than you are hankering for. And whatever you have, one is satisfied with that. Vijay Maharaj was satisfied being in the forest. He never felt any regret. He was quite happy to be in the forest. But because he was devotee, not because he was Brahmabhuta platform. So for a devotee, the Brahmabhuta platform is a concomitant factor. It just comes automatically because he is situated in Krishna consciousness. Now our challenge is to keep that 24/7, to maintain that 24/7. That's the challenge. And what blocks us are the anarthas, the impurities in the heart, the desires we have that are not Krishna conscious. Those are the blocks. So to come back to your question, after anartha nivritti has been dealt with more or less, it doesn't go fully until prema. Bear that in mind also. But to what extent one has overcome the gross anarthas, then one is able to relish the ruchi and get the taste and attachment, asakti and all that. And nishtha and asakti and all those things will come. Nishtha, ruchi, asakti, all those stages will bhava. One experiences that the real nectar in Krishna consciousness. Then one will not hanker for these things because they become very insignificant. What does it matter? It's so cheap. I don't need that. That's the Madhavan Puri writes, I spit at the thought. He doesn't feel the desire for any sense enjoyment. He just spits at the thought. So I don't need that. And that's a genuine thing. It's not artificially said. He actually felt so much bliss in devotion service. So that is a much more safer platform than someone who is just avoiding hankering and lamentation and trying to keep on Brahmabhuta platform. That's a very unsteady platform because that's not a constitutional position.
The perfection of Krishna consciousness is the state in which Brahmabhuta is perfected. That's the perfect stage of Brahmabhuta.
Mad bhaktim lavate param. Mad bhaktim.
Because even simply being on the Brahmabhuta platform isn't fully complete.
No, it's not complete. It's not complete. It's a relief from material distress, yes, but only temporarily. The desires are still there. They are not fully being satisfied. Unsatisfied desires are there, but they are not being satisfied because if I try to satisfy them, I'll have problems. Better avoid it. Grapes are sour. Yeah.
You mentioned before that when Lord Chaitanya was personally present, everyone in the universe was liberated.
That's what Shastra says, yeah.
Right. So, was I going to say? Maybe I'll
Alright, Prasadam time. Okay, we'll do the last question quickly, and I'm sorry I came late today. We are packing for Wellington, so just let you know. Sharmuki is having a bit of a stressful time. Trying to figure out. Hopefully next week we don't keep it late like this, because everyone thinks, oh, he came at 11:30, I can come at 12. Then everything just start pushing forward. We must come back to 10:30 Kirtan, 11 o'clock we start the class. We should come back to that. My apologies for today. Yes, sir. What to do? I must have stolen some money from Qantas last lifetime. Start making me pay back, Evelyn. I might have been treasurer or something. Got sacked. Just look at history. Anyone who died in 1959 was sacked by Qantas for stealing money. That's me. That's my past life. Sorry, come to your question.
So all of those people who were present at the time of Lord Chaitanya's presence in the universe were liberated. So were they all present at that time for a reason, or were they all just at the right place at the right time, everyone in the universe? Or?
That's why it's called causeless mercy. You can't put a logic on that. Causeless means no cause. The moment you say they were there for this reason, there's a cause. Of course, some of the associates of the Lord were there with a purpose. But other than that, it's pure mercy. That's why, for us, we should take full advantage of it. 500 years is nothing. Or even 530 years or whatever now. Next year will be 530 years. Yeah, 530. 529 years is nothing. It's like 5 minutes ago. The demigod watch. So we are so close to being his associate, practically contemporaries. So we should take full advantage. And Srila Prabhupada is definitely his associate. And his followers also are associated with Lord Chaitanya. We have them still on this planet. The teachings are available. They're still there. So take full advantage of this. Mercy, not waste any time here and there, not get distracted in anything. So nothing else is important other than Krishna consciousness. Nothing else. What about this, what about that? No, don't worry. It will all be good. It will all be good. Because this is such a good engagement. 24/7 you can be engaged. You want to sleep, you can dream about that. No problems. It just happens. You just don't have to do anything. Just participate wholeheartedly in the movement of Lord Chaitanya. That's it. You're liberated. Nothing to fear. Who can say that with confidence? Tell me. Other than the followers of Lord Chaitanya, Srila Prabhupada. Who can say that? That's why Srila Prabhupada says, anyone who thinks he can be Krishna conscious outside the association of the devotees of ISKCON, they are in hallucination. It's not a boasting. Prabhupada is not boasting. He's telling the truth. We don't need to go here and there. Very fortunate that we have all his associates of Srila Prabhupada. His disciples are still there on the planet. Wow, that's powerful. They are so powerful. They are doing such amazing service around the world. His associates. And anyone who follows him sincerely has the same potency. Now Sydney, you see, so much is happening now. It's a happening place. The whole world is looking at Sydney now. Everywhere I go, they ask me, oh, you're from Sydney? Oh, I heard so much. So very fortunate. So we should derive encouragement from that, not be complacent and puffed up. But at the same time, as Sharanmukhi said, there's a lot of work to be done. So that's why we have Bhakti Shastri structures, where the leaders are being trained, we're doing a lot of training programs. Next year, Mahatma Prabhu is going to come. Mahatma Das, Prabhupada disciple, he's going to help us train devotees, take care of each other, and understand the difficulties of growing in Krishna consciousness. We're going to have structured program, training program for all devotees. But most training happens on the job. I'm working for Department of Health in Canberra, and their HR department is saying that the best training is on the job training. You learn 90% of what you learn on the job. Only 10% in a classroom with flip chart and whiteboards and all. That's only 10%. But you actually learn on the job much more. They can't teach you much in training anyway. They just give you a basic idea. Otherwise you learn on the job. So please excuse me, we'll just take 5 minutes and read the last point. I don't know whether I'm being Parivrikachari or I'm going in one verse. I've played the wrong game of dice. Anyway, this third point is, what is the third question he asked? The last question? Sorry? Yeah, how does one do that? What is the answer? $25. Yeah, that's right. But what is the last point, the last question they asked? That question. So, in terms of, yeah, that's right, 26. But he already in this verse, he already given a hint of that. What is the hint he has given? Yeah, correct. That's the point. You know? So even in Krishna consciousness, we don't want to do it for ourselves. We have to examine our motive all the time. Am I really doing it for Radha Gopinath Prabhupada, or am I doing it for my own personal aggrandizement? And that is the takeaway point here. One may be doing devotional service, no doubt, very nice. But we have to examine the motive there. The motive has to be to please Srila Prabhupada. And we should verify, am I really pleasing Srila Prabhupada? Not that I am doing it anyway, my way or highway. That's not going to help. You know? It will still help, but you will not get the mercy to the extent that we could get. You won't have the mercy. So we need to expose ourselves. At work also they got a 360-degree survey. 360-degree survey. You have seen that? What does that mean? Yeah, you get from up, down, your equals, superiors, all the stakeholders, internal and external. Neighbors, your colleagues, equal peers, your higher level, going even higher level than him, how the department is doing, and then if you have any people reporting to you, how they feel about you. So they are realizing it's actually now the word servant leaders become very common in the corporate world. Where did it come from? Ultimately, if you read all the books, you'll come to Prabhupada only. He is the authority. Where are we going? The servant leader is already there. It's not a new thing. So being the servant is a much more blissful and happy position than trying to be the master. And that's what we're learning here. Envy of Krishna wants to make us compete with God. But love for Krishna wants us to compete to be the servant of the Lord. Not just the servant, but servant of the servant of the servant. That's more blissful, more peaceful, more happy. That is real Brahmabhuta platform. Okay, so these 3 questions we'll do next time. Yes.
I used to be under the impression that when we go to the temple and when we are associating, then I am beyond the modes. Sort of, I thought like that. But then each one of us is under the modes. So we carry that even in the association and even into the temple. So we've got to be watchful now that we are reading the 14th chapter. We've got to be watchful of our motivations and how we are influenced by the modes, even in association, even at the temple. Of course, by ourselves, we are completely under the modes. I mean, and even when we are studying the Shastras, okay, I'm learning the shloka only in order to show off to the others that I know the shloka. So then also that's also being under the modes only. So I was thinking, I want to become more aware of how the modes are acting on me. And I remembered one of Prabhupada's disciples, lady disciples, Prabhupada gave her the name Atita Guna, one who has transcended the modes. So I thought, wow, such a beautiful name. Yeah, so Atita Guna, so to go beyond Devi Dasi. So we should all become Atita Guna Devi Dasas and Atita Guna Devi Dasis. And transcend the modes.
Thank you. That's a very good point, yeah. So next week what we'll do, we'll recap 22-25 in the sense examples. I'm looking for every one of you, please bring examples. I want every one of you to have examples, no exception. Not say, oh, she'll say for me, he'll say for me. No, all of us have to have examples. I'm going to ask that. And we'll do only 26 next time. We won't do 27 because 27 got a very long purport and we need to spend a whole class on that. It's a very special. And this section is going to really help us understand the modes and transcend them. It will be a very big bonus to our spiritual life. Sharmukhi, yeah.
Along with that homework, that would be part A. Part B would be for us to, in our own personal lives, to be watchful from today onwards till next Saturday, as to how these three questions: what are the symptoms, and am I transcending it, and where did I fail, where did I succeed? If it is not so private, maybe we can share it with each other such that we inspire each other to overcome it.
Yeah.
But if it's private, of course, we don't have to.
We can do that over the next two classes.
Yeah.
Okay,
so from today, that's part B of the homework. All of us be cautious and be watchful of the modes and our reactions, whether we are reacting or whether we are responding.
Yeah, that's a good answer. Reacting or responding. That's very nice. Especially within the family. Especially within the family. So that's the hardest. Then back to square one. Okay, any other announcement to make? Who? Host and cook also, my God. Ji ki jai. Ably assisted by? Didn't do anything. Oh. Okay. From? Oh wow, organic oranges. Taste organic. Sure, and it's organic and can be offered to the Lord. And it's winter time, perfect timing. Made a lot of vitamin C. So very nice. Prabhas Krishna Prabhu can chant the prayers. Jewels of Nectar is not here. It's good. And we go in there.